I have chosen for my little getaway a place about 5 hours north of my home called Carrara Rangeland Park. It's a four-wheel drive track that runs through the area. You can see a lot of wildflowers. It's springtime, so this area becomes absolutely beautiful with its wildflowers. There are no designated camps that I can see, so I think I can just camp anywhere, but I'm going to drive a little bit further and try and find a secluded spot somewhere, a flat area. Well, it is spitting with rain. I don't think the rain is going to last very long, but this is my chosen campsite. There's sun setting in the west, surrounded by wildflowers. I literally have just pulled off the track. What do you reckon, eh? Nice. Is my car level? I think it is, but I do think it is down on the right. Okay, and always the best part of the morning. Cut to that camera where you can see this beautiful surroundings in which I'm camped. Isn't that cool? Wow, it's beautiful. Pee and then coffee. I'm just going to roll the camera because, well, like all of my solo trips, I like having company, I like talking to you guys. I'm just going to just roll the camera there, and I needed another extension for my stove because I've actually changed the way I'm making coffee. I'm not using those coffee machines anymore. Well, I'm still using the milk frother, but I decided that the convenience aside, don't particularly like the coffee that comes out of those pods. I know many of you will agree with me. It's not bad, but okay, so this is a new one that I purchased. Actually, I found it in a little store in Brisbane. Do you remember the van shoot? I was walking around, and we were in the mall with Heiner, and we were waiting for the shops to open and all of that little story there. And we walked past, and they had these in the window, and this is the little one, and this is one of the two, the genuine ones, and it's absolutely brilliant, and I love it. I absolutely love it. So I'm now making my coffee like that, and it's far nicer. It's also a bit more of a ritual, which I kind of like, because, well, I do kind of like it. You know, some of the rituals we have around the camp, my hands are very cold, and they're kind of comforting. We like to fiddle with something, and I like that too. So I'm going to do that here. I'm going to wipe down my side table. It's very wet from the condensation. It is really, really cold. but refreshingly cold. The trouble is with the pods that they don't give you any choice. Well, I suppose they do, but you can't take a coffee that you really, really like and say, okay, well, I'm gonna do that with my coffee machine. I kind of like this ritual. It's kind of pleasing. Makes you kind of anticipate the event. Right, here we go. So we're going to close that. Not being a coffee expert, I've been told the faster that does its thing, the better the coffee will taste because of a reduced bitterness in the cup. So, we're going to put my one thing of sugar in there. Ta-da-da-da. Okay. Milk. I'm doing three things. I'm not just making coffee. I am also, this is the first time I've made this coffee this new way with my Troopy layout, so it's taking a little longer than it might. Cool, thank you. Perfect. Absolutely. You have to see this. You actually have to see this. Look at that. Check it out. All right, now it's my last camp in my Troopy, very last one, last day. I'm going to spend the whole day here. Awning is going to be needed. It's a beautiful spot. The chances of seeing anybody are pretty close to zero. There you go. Oh, that's going to be good. That is going to be fantastic. Right, now I need a spoon to stir it. It feels like I'm doing a coffee commercial here. Isn't that cool? The only trouble is with these coffee, the milk frothers, they use a lot of water to clean. A lot. So one tends to, if you're on a trip where water is very, very scarce, then one has to, you know, if you're making coffee for everybody, then I guess it's okay to use that much water just to clean up. But generally speaking, the amount of water I'm using just to clean this, I would use to clean everybody's, you know, lots of dishes in the morning to save on wastewater. Anyway, it's going to be a nice day today. And I'm shooting a piece for the Troop Carrier, which will be on the 4X Overland channel, just about Troopy, to help people get their Troopy builds right, because I've seen so many builds, they get them wrong because they go too far and they make them too heavy, is the most part. And because they make them too heavy, they turn them into mediocre off-road overlanders. Sorry, mediocre off-roaders, good overlanders, but mediocre off-roaders because they make them too heavy, and then the weight balance, etc., etc. So that is on my 4X Overland, my main channel. Real coffee. Alright, what else am I going to do? Not sure. Charged batteries. I don't need to put out solar. today because I've got, I'm only here for 2 nights. I've got 400 amp hour batteries. I'm doing everything on. I'm not even turning on a gas cooker, but I will still have absolutely plenty for my day. I left home with a 50% charge. I arrived here, I was at 100% charge. By the time I leave tomorrow, I'll probably have a 50% charge again. So I'm not going to put out solar. These wildflowers are beautiful. On the way in yesterday, it was beautiful with the flowers. It's a carpet of yellow and white flowers. I do want to give a shout out to Easy On. Jess, if you see this video, I hope you are well. Your chairs that you supplied us for the Africa troop carrier, I think are the cleverest, best camping chairs I've yet used. What chair are you sitting on?
My chair.
Good answer. What do you reckon about this chair that you've been sitting on?
I really like them.
You really like them?
Yeah.
What kind of chair are you sitting on?
Hold on.
What is it? A Lumio? Lumio.
No, other side. No.
Where is it?
Maybe head there.
Oh, there it is, Lumio.
Okay.
It's very compact to travel with.
Okay.
It's not too bad.
Not too bad. Good. You're sitting on what?
A chair.
Like mother, like daughter.
Okay, so this is a shout out. This is actually a shout out for these canine chairs. Okay, this is made by Easy On in South Africa. Point the camera at me, please. It's still rolling. Okay, can I go?
Go.
These are some of the nicest camp chairs I've ever enjoyed. Reason being is because if you sit upright in them, you could actually do work, and because they get a certain amount of support. But if you want to chill, super comfortable. And I tell you what's fantastic about them, when I pack them into the car, they pack up instantly, and the bag they come in is not too small. Jess, and I'm talking to you from Easy On, I want some for my Australia Troopy. I want to get rid of my Oz tent chairs. They're quite nice, but they're very clumsy to pack away, and they're just not as nice as these. I don't think you bring them into Australia. If you did, I would have them in this vehicle. When I do these solo shows, I like to share with you some of the things that I've been getting up to, and I have got lots and lots of things that I have a very active life. I'm very, very lucky. I can't stand being bored, so I'm always thinking about new things. So in 2026, I'm going to be building a new workshop. I'm demolishing my old one. I'm putting up a brand new workshop on my property. It's slightly bigger, but it's far more efficient in its layout, and it's going to allow me to do much more. But very, very importantly though, it's going to allow me to build my van. Now, I may have mentioned that I'm selling this troop carrier, and I'm also going to be selling the Africa troop carrier. The Africa troop carrier, the reason why I'm selling it, I will get to in a minute. But this one is, I'm done with Troopies, and I'm so excited about the van, having driven with the van and now decided, man, it's good. We just need to do a bit more work, and man, it's good. So, and it will definitely fulfill my overlanding needs. That I have no question. And it will do it better than Troopy. Excuse me. So I really want to build myself a van, but the van won't fit in my current workshop. I would have to chop out the whole front end. I could get it to fit. Difficult. I could. I need 2.4 is the opening height. Ideally, I need it a little bit wider. So the new opening is 2.4 and 300 millimeters wider than it is now. Gonna be good. It's a meter wider and it's a couple of meters longer. Of course, the option of another troop carrier was, yeah, I'm done. So that wasn't, so what do? Do I do an Ineos? I did think long and hard about the Ineos, and I'm very impressed with it in many ways. And yes, that thing in the foot, that lump in the footwell would be an issue for me. I'm sure it would. Could I get around? Because every car's got some issues, and you think, okay, well, can I get around that issue? And that's one issue I don't know. There were issues with the van, and I thought, I don't know if I can get around those issues with the van, and I can. No question about it. Okay. Zero question. So, and also it was a new challenge because Ineos is just another station wagon. So what would I do? I could do a conversion like this. Alucab do a conversion. I could do that. What would it be better than Troopy? I doubt it. Would it be more interesting than Troopy? Definitely more interesting than Troopy, only because I've done 5 Troopies before. So definitely more interesting than Troopy. Fuel range, that's a big problem with that vehicle. And other things that the Troopy is so good at, that vehicle isn't as good at. So, but the van, I still have that exact same fuel issue that I would have had with Ineos I have with the van. And I'm determined to get around it. I will get around it. I know I will get around it. So the workshop is being built so that I can build my van in it. But more than that, the workshop is going to be a series of videos. And I would love to hear your stories about your workshops. Because I'm not an expert workshop builder. I have my own experience, but we all do. So I'm more experienced than anybody else when it comes to building workshops. Heiner has already been a huge resource because I've been asking him questions about bench tops and benches and shelving and tool storage and things like that. He's come up with some very interesting ideas, having operated commercial workshops, but then that's a bit different because you've got lots of people coming in and out, grabbing their tools, doing work and having workstations. I will have one workstation. So it's a bit different, but still there's lots and lots to learn. So that is starting, and I'm really hoping to do that around Christmas time, and I'll be giving you a full set of videos about building a workshop. I'm very lucky I have a nice big space for a workshop. It's not massive. It's not as if I have, hundreds of square meters. So I'm still confined to a limited space. But I do have a fairly generous space when compared to most people. I give that, yeah. I'm also going to turn it into a film studio where I can actually film and shoot photographs, still photographs, product shots and things like that. And that's mainly for Egon. It's got, we're renting studios to do shoots with Egon, and it's expensive. And if I could do it at my own place, it would be less expensive, and I could just decide, this morning I'm going to get some new pictures of the new DC hub bracket and go and take pictures of them. So that's one of the goals. Are you still with me? Good for you. Let's see, audiobooks. What have I been? All right. Maybe I should get my phone out and actually, because I'm not sponsored by Audible. I should be actually. I could actually get a sponsorship from them, but they tell you what to. Well, they don't tell you what to say, but they tell you for how long to say it. So I suppose I could, because Audible's absolutely brilliant. So I have. Not sure if I mentioned that I. Let's see. There you go. Where have all the bullets gone? Spike Milligan. I'm a huge Spike Milligan fan. I've read every single one of his books, but I haven't read that for a very, very long time. I am working my way through the Gulag Archipelago. It is the heaviest read known to man, but it is worth reading because you find out what can happen. You can find out what can happen. Do you know the Gulag Archipelago became compulsory reading in every Russian high school? Think about that. This incredibly shameful part of a country's history. Unbelievable torture and murder, and it's you read it and you think, I'm a human being. I'm the same species as these people. that did that. I am the same species. The aliens, if they read that book, if Gulag was the first book the aliens ever read about the human race, they'd say, destroy the planet, nothing to lose. It's unbelievable. And yet, the country in which it happened made that book compulsory reading for all high school pupils. What other country would do that? I mean, I'm not being, don't get all uptight with me. I'm not being pro-Russian. I'm not being pro-anything. I'm being pro-human. The fact that they did that, and then, anyway, I think that's extraordinary. Right, I don't think this is a great idea. I started reading A Brief History of Time, Stephen Hawking. Oh, it's heavy going. It's not as heavy as going as the Gulag. Well, it's heavy in a different way. So I'm trudging through that one. I will listen to it for half an hour and kind of turn it off and then try and digest what I have just read. Very good. SAS, Rogue Heroes. One of my favourite authors is Ben McIntyre. He does lots of spy stuff. Brilliantly written. He reads it himself. Now, not many authors that read themselves can do it well. He does it well. He does it very, very well. I also read as The Spy and the Traitor, another Ben McIntyre. Most of the spy stories are about British spies that spy for the Soviets and make a fool of British intelligence. This is the other way around. This is a Russian that became a spy and made a fool of Russian intelligence. It's a good turn the other way. It's really good. Here's one that probably the last one I'm going to mention in this list. Yeah, The Rise and Fall of the Third Reich, William L. Shirer. Now, William L. Shirer was certainly amongst the most respected of the World War II chroniclers, and his book is, you see, he was in Germany during the war. He didn't look at it from the Allied point of view. He looked at it from the German people's point of view, and from what I can see, he's been incredibly accurate in terms of historically accurate. But there is certain commentary in there. So the moment you get a bit of commentary, you get a little bit of bias. But I think he's most well respected because his bias was not. He, for example, said he actually admits it. He was taken in by Adolf Hitler. He was taken in by it, and he accepted it. And then he opened his eyes, and he was one of the very few that opened his eyes. And being an historian, he started recording things. And the book is brilliant. The book is absolutely brilliant. I thoroughly, thoroughly enjoyed it. Those are the main ones. A few others. All About Me, Mel Brooks. I'm a collector of comedy, so that was an interesting book. I enjoyed that. Goodbye Soldier, which was another Spike Milligan that I haven't read in decades. I loved the TV show Cheers. That was in the 1980s. Cheers. I'm a big fan of Friends and a few of the others. This is called Directed by James Burrows. Of course, he was the director of many of those. Probably the most successful sitcom director of all time. And I think I've mentioned a few others. I reread Always Look on the Bright Side of Life, one of the best comedian autobiographies ever written, in my view. I read it a second time, and I also read for the second time Long Walk to Freedom, Nelson Mandela, which is, again, a wonderful story of human endeavour. So there are my books. If you're a fan of audiobooks, that should give you something to get on with. Once my van is built, now I've been thinking about this for a while. I want to do astrophotography. There are a couple of reasons why I want to do astrophotography. in Australia here we have the Milky Way, which is on display. I am now 5 hours from my home, and I'm going to take some pictures tonight with my limited equipment of the Milky Way. It's going to be a clear sky tonight. It's winter time, there's been a lot of rain, so I'm thinking that there should be a low level of dust in the atmosphere. There'll be low light interference here. I actually haven't checked the moon, but I don't think it's a full moon. I think we'll be good, and I'll get a couple of shots. And my plan is this, and I've never been able to do it with Troopy because there's not enough space to store the gear. Telescopes are bulky. They take up a lot of space. They've got to be protected while you drive, so they take up even more space. And I've often thought about doing this because you don't use ordinary cameras for them. You use telescopes, but you also use other equipment. You need for example, a very heavy duty tripod. The stability of the tripod is critical. If you have a little bit of a wind, it cannot move that telescope, even the slightest amount. So you have to factor in that. They're big, they're bulky, they've got to go somewhere, they've got to be packed in somewhere. Now the van suddenly opens that window for me, and I'm actually building part of my van for that purpose, so that I can stow my telescope gear, take it out, set it up, and electrical power supply to the telescope, and then edit the images in the van, because typically you have an all-nighter. You'll sit up almost all night getting your photographs, because you're talking about time exposures, long time exposures. And with long time exposures, you need long time, but also you need they're done over a period of time. So you might, for example, take a photograph of a galaxy, and that galaxy might be 10 exposures, and each exposure is a minute and a half. This is kind of thing that would happen. So now you're in a minute and a half, and then another, and then of course that whole thing, then the light gathering through the telescope over that long period of time, because you are photographing over something that's moving, the sky moves, you need something to track its movement. So you need what they call an equatorial mount. There are different types. I've kind of decided on the one that I want to get, and this is not cheap. You can do it with a reasonably low budget, but I don't want to sit and struggle with technology. I don't want to find that I'm spending quite a lot of money and sitting and really struggling with the technology because things don't work together. Whereas if I buy the right equipment and it's all matched up, it will work together.
Sorry, I had to interrupt my shoot. Phone rang, but a family crisis, and they needed me, so I jumped in my car, came back home, so I couldn't, of course, shoot what I'd hoped to shoot that night, the tests of the Milky Way galaxy. There'll be other opportunities. One thing I did want to ask you, though, is that these type of videos where it gets a bit personal, and particularly those who support me on ASPW Experience and Patreon. I have no idea if this video will go public or not at this moment, but can you help me out here? What kind of things do you really enjoy about them? If I'm doing a solo trip, what about it inspires you, so I know what more to shoot? Any insights I would be very, very grateful for them. And of course, look forward to continuing this, particularly the astrophotography, in videos to come. Thank you again for watching.